Welcome. Thank you for joining today's podcast, Modern Empowerment with Lorinda Buckingham, the go-to place for empowerment and business leadership so that modern leaders like you can learn to live a life of freedom, balance, and faith for success in a modern world. Lorinda Buckingham is a highly sought-after certified motivational speaker, life success coach, and leadership trainer. Lorinda has years of experience in coaching and mentoring professionals and students to develop as leaders, grow their business, and make a positive difference in the world. There's a powerful show today. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and comment. And remember, empowerment isn't a thing of the past. For professionals today, there is modern empowerment. Now here is your host, Lorinda Buckingham.
Hello and welcome to Modern Empowerment. This is Lorinda Buckingham. I am the creator and founder of Modern Empowerment and a motivational speaker, coach, and trainer. I am so happy that you joined in today. If this is your first time joining in with this podcast, I just want to say thank you. There's many various choices that you have each week. And we're very glad that you tuned in to this particular station because each week we talk about leadership tips and tools that we believe that are very helpful to your personal growth, entrepreneurship, and also in your career development. We try to bring good content to you so that way each week you can have tools and action plans that you can use in your career or in building the business of your dream. If you're anything like me out there, you're not only just a professional or a CEO, but you're also a mom or you're a father. You're a son, a daughter, you have other responsibilities that are with you as well. And so it's very difficult sometimes, I know, especially for me as a millennial, to find that balance and finding someone who actually talks about all those different things and how you could be successful as a mother, as a business owner, as a wife, as a father, as a husband. So that way you can go out and be successful and make a positive difference in the world. I get DMs and messages from people all the time about different topics and things they want to talk about. And definitely we put them in the lineup so that we can bring that content that you're looking for. So if you're out there right now, you have something that you want to hear, just make sure that you also share those things with us. I read all of the emails. My staff actually sends them to me. So if you have something that you want to talk about, definitely let us know what it is that we have going on. Also, before we get started in today's show, I just want to let everyone know that we're also in the process of planning a great workshop that is getting ready to come up in Atlanta, Georgia. Yay. And we're going to have a workshop that's going to help people with their communication in relationships and also in business. It's going to be an excellent workshop. So definitely stay tuned for that. We're going to have more details coming up about it, and having also the dates and the times that is going to be available. We're going to have the links out on the website on www.lorindabuckingham.com. So I want you guys to continue to tune in and just let your friends know that it's coming. And as we continue to have more details and have more information, we will share that with you here each week. So I just want to go ahead and get started in our topic. Last week we started talking about delegation, and we were talking about how to reduce stress. So if you're a manager, a CEO, even if you're a senior executive and you're having this issue with delegation, you're having this issue right now with being able to share the responsibilities that go on in your department, and you want to make sure that the job gets done, you want to make sure that you meet your targets, because everyone wants that end of the year bonus, so they want to get that raise, and you're kind of struggling because maybe you don't trust the people around you, or maybe you're not very confident in the capabilities of people around. And so now it's starting to stress you out, or it's starting to affect your health or affect the way that you are as an individual. So I want to give some different tools and tips that I think will be very, very helpful for anyone out there that is going through that at this particular time. Just to kind of recap, we want to make sure that as managers and as leaders that we're are encouraging the people that are around us, and that we're trusting them to do the job. I know that it's very hard at times to trust people, right? It's very difficult to trust someone that they'll be able to do that job. But it takes a lot of leadership to trust in the capabilities of those who are around you, that not only can they do the job, but in any area that they may need improvement, that as a leader that you can help them to grow, help them to advance, help them to see those areas in their life where they need to make some changes. And I believe that that's what happens when you're a manager or when you're a senior executive or even when you're a CEO. You have to be able to coach people and teach them about how they can make improvements, how they can effectively communicate, how they can improve how they write an email, how they can improve their presentation for the next manager's meeting or for the next meeting that they have. You'll be amazed at what can happen with people when you just sit down with them, communicate with them, just let them know exactly what it is that you're looking for. And when you let them know what you're looking for and outline that, then it's easier to assess exactly where their shortcomings are or even where your shortcomings may be. Sometimes people can work well under a person who is a micromanager. Some people can't work that well. Some people need to have a person who tells them how to do things step by step by step. Of course, we want everyone to be more of an independent worker. And there are some that need little supervision. And then we could start to suffocate or smother their abilities if we're not trusting them. If we're not trusting them to be able to do the job. Trusting them to be able to do that. I know people who are attorneys and they have different people working for them, I guess called paralegals and other people that work for them. They have to trust that. They look at the information, but what good is it if every single thing they bring to you, you can't trust what they bring to you? You want to revise information, but you still want them to come to you with something that is decent or that's something that's good. So sometimes as a leader or as a manager or as someone's superior or boss, you have to not only be that person who can lead for yourself, but also be that person who can sit down with someone, coach them, help them to get to the next level. You have an idea of where you want them to be. You have an idea of where you want your company to go, your department to go. But then you want to sit down with them, talk to them, so that way you can figure out how to get them to that level. And I meet with people all the time. I talk with managers, I talk with directors, I talk with people all the time. And that is one of the biggest stresses that they have. Because on one end, when you're in management, you're responsible for reporting out to other managers and other people. And then at the same time, you're responsible for making sure that the people who report to you are doing their work. So it's kind of like this sandwich thing going on, right? It's like, you have the bread at the top, the bread at the bottom, and you're the ham, the turkey, the tomatoes, the lettuce. You're in the middle. And so you're trying to make things work the best that you know how. And so and one of the things you have to realize is that you're not alone. You're not alone. You're not a person who is by themselves. You're not a person who is experiencing something right now, that there's not another person in probably the same industry or even in a different industry that may feel the same way. They feel the same way you do. And how many of you know that when you allow for stress to take over your life, that it can affect every area of your life? It could affect your health. It could affect your marriage. It could affect your relationship with your children. And we talked a lot about this last week. And when we talked about how it can negatively affect you, and then started to move with actions on how we can start making a different change. So if you haven't heard that lesson, I want to encourage you to go back to the podcast that was before this one and actually get those tools as we go into this one for this week. Because one of the biggest things we want to make sure that we do is build upon that and make sure not only that we have a successful life at the job, but have that life outside of the job, have that life at home. Be a person that is healthy and that is not living a stressed life. Now, understand something, and let me put this disclaimer because I can hear it. I can hear it out there. And someone says, how do I get rid of stress? I can't be without any stress. I'm not saying that you never have any problems. I want to put that out there. I'm not saying you don't have any problems or things do not come up, or maybe you don't have targets that you have to meet, or, there's some things that come up that's good. What I'm talking about is a type of stress that begins to affect your health to where you have high blood pressure. You begin to have issues with eating, sleeping disorders, depression, those type of things. When it starts to affect your health to the point where it can do something that can harm you in a permanent way, that's when you're allowing too much power in that area. And it's our responsibility, it's your responsibility, for you, for me, that we find ways that we can still be effective on a job, that we can still be effective in our business, but still stay healthy and productive, not only just for ourselves, but also for the people that are around us. Because there are people around us that are dependent upon us living a good life. A lot of times we think that if I get this job, if I go higher, if I have this business, if I make all of this money, that I'm going to be able to be the best. And even though having a great job is great, or having a great business is great, I love what I do. I love having my own business. I live by this. But the most important thing that you can have is you and your family. And being able to be present with your family, even if it's just for a short period of time, whatever time that you have to be present with them. And see, those things help you to reduce your stress. It helps you to be a better manager, a better person, a better individual to work with, to be around, to hang out with. And I want you to be successful. I want you to be successful. So we talked about trusting your staff, trusting those people that are around you. And I want you to continue to look at those ways to do it. And I hope you took your homework, your action items for the week. And now we're going to go ahead and continue with this second segment. And in this part of it, I kind of was already talking about it a little bit in this part, is that we want to try to work out a plan. And we want to make sure that we have a plan for our staff. A lot of times when I talk to people who are in management, the biggest issue is that they don't have a plan for the staff. Now, they have a plan for themselves. They have a plan for the company, the organization, the department. And I look at the information and I ask them, well, where's the plan for the staff? What are your personal growth resources? What do you plan to do to help them to get to this point? Because especially when you're in an environment where soft skills are so important, that leadership skills, communication skills, the way someone sends an email, the way they communicate in a meeting, all of these things are very important. And you would think that as important as having these soft skills are, that they will be taught in schools everywhere, that it will be a number one curriculum in most public schools or even private schools. But it's not. But yet and still, that's what most employers are looking for. They're looking for people with the type of soft skills that they can work in teams and they can lead teams. And even you may be looking for someone, or you're working with people that you're expecting to be leaders. So I want you to have a plan that for each and every person in your group. So I want you to write that down. If you don't have that yet, I want you to write down a plan. Write down what it is that you would like for them to do. And even if you're here, you're saying, I just have this for a relationship. And I'm not telling you to go out there and just make demands on your relationship. But what I am saying is write down your desires, write down your goals of what you would like to see happen. Because in any situation, whenever you deal with people, I don't care if it's a marriage, it doesn't matter if it's a working relationship, there's going to be some things that maybe you're going to have to do and they're going to have to do. And it may be after you look at those plans and evaluate yourself in this action item, you may actually begin to see that there are some things you can improve on to help them get to the next level. And there might be some things that they just need to improve upon themselves. But without actually having that plan, without actually having something tangible in front of you, just something written down for each and every person that reports to you or the people that are around you that you're looking for to have change, you don't have a really good visual concept of what it is that you're striving for, what goals you're actually looking for. And now when you have this plan with your staff, I want you to make sure that you work out your deadlines, you work out when you want to make those improvements. Now, when you're talking about personal growth, you may have certain fiscal parts. In your fiscal year, have different parts of your year where they can get training. You may have training opportunities. You want to write that out for them. And then also, if there are different items that is necessary in your department for them to do for their job, you want to have a clear plan with clear deadline dates. Because now you're trying to delegate this responsibility and get it off your desk, get the stress off from you, and you want to give them that to them and empower them. And see, when you give people a very clear plan, it's also a great ability to see how well they work, and then also to share with them where they may have missed it. It's very difficult to show where someone has missed it if you're not very clear on what type of plan that you have for them. So you want to make sure that they have every tool and every resource that they can have to be effective, to be the best in what they're doing, because as they're effective and as they're doing the best in what they can do, then they will be the best for you and they will be the best for the company. So that's an action item that I would like for you to work on this week. And again, I want you to sit there and find ways to trust your staff and also to trust in their capabilities. So when you're looking at their capabilities and trusting them, and some of them may want promotional considerations, or maybe you may want promotional considerations. As you're looking to delegate, you want to look at their strengths and their weaknesses to see exactly how you can make an adjustment, how you can adjust in what they're doing, because you have to trust that they can do what it is that you have asked them to do. So let's just say, for example, you work in manufacturing and you're looking to improve some of the quality standards in your manufacturing facility, and you have to meet standards that are either by the federal government, maybe by J.D. Powers. Maybe you're trying to compete for one of the different targets that you have in Consumer Reports. And as you're doing that, you start to delegate to people different responsibilities to make sure that the quality standards of your manufacturing facility matches what it is that your group needs to match. Well, you're not going to be able to meet the standards of the federal government and meet the standards of all of the different ISO requirements with all by yourself. That's going to be too many regulations, too many policies that you'll have to review and do on your own. So you're gonna have to divvy it up. You're gonna have to share some of those responsibilities and trust in that. And I would give another tip. Another tip is to have weekly reviews. So if you have a team or you have a person that you're working with, or team peers that you have with you, as a manager or even as a senior executive, you can have weekly meetings to review the progress of each and every single person. And I know I can hear right now, somebody's out there like, well, I'm a small business owner. I only have 2 people working for me. Why would I do that? It doesn't matter how many people you have. It keeps everyone on the same page. It lets you know exactly where you're going, exactly what you're doing. And it also talks about the progress and communicates with the entire team, even if it's just 2 other people, exactly what's going on. But this is a practical action item that if you're listening right now and you're having an issue of stress and trying to delegate and want to have successful goals, to try to have weekly meetings. And even if you have someone that's needs a little bit extra help, right? We just want to say they just need a little extra coaching opportunities and being able to meet those goals. Then you may want to meet with them a little bit more until they get to a certain place. But again, it goes back to the first thing that I said, and that they need to have a plan. They need to have a plan. And even as you're thinking about this and writing this down, I want you to think about the fact that even as you're listening, even as you're meditating, even as you're thinking about it in your own life, you also are creating a plan for you. You're starting to trust in your own capabilities. In order to move up, you have to grow up. In order to move up, you have to grow up. And so if you want to move up, you have to grow. You have to expand. The people that are at the top are usually not the people who know everything about every single detail, but they do know how to get the right people to do the right job. And they're savvy enough to be able to hear what someone has to say and be able to understand what they have to say to make a decision on where they should go. And so for you, if you're looking to release that stress, then you want to develop your team to the place to where they can just report to you. and you can just have it where they come to you. Now, mind you, if it's a job, you're still going to have a little bit of stress. You're going to have a little bit of things that need to happen with work. But again, we're talking about that extreme stress. We're talking about that stress that causes weight gain. We're talking about the stress that causes heartburn and heart conditions and depression. We have to be free from depression, free from the issues that cause us to eat at night and to hurt ourselves. It is great to have a job, but our jobs are a resource. But there's a higher power that is our source. It's a resource to take care of your bills, maybe to have a certain life, but it's not your source. And so when you have the right perspective, when you have the right ideas, that you also have a plan to be stress-free, that you have a plan to live healthy, you have a plan to grow in your company, to go up, to grow up, to expand. You have a plan to build your business. When you have that, then you can live a life that is full of freedom, a life full of balance, a life full of faith. You live a life that is empowered. You live a life that is full of strength. And that is the type of life that you want. That is the type of life that you need. And yes, you can have that. If you are a senior executive, yes, you can have that. I know it may seem that you can't, but you can. You can get to a point where you can start trying to get off work by 6, 7 o'clock. If you have children and they're in different activities, you have to empower the people around you to do the job so that you can get off work to do some other things that you need to do. But if you have people reporting to you and you're still there because you're doing their job, then you have to reevaluate. Now, it's different if it's just a lot of work or if you're short staffed and you have an open rec and you're looking for someone to come in. But I'm talking about in the ideal condition where you have your staff, you have everything going on, then you have to really reevaluate what it is that you're doing. Because as a manager, as a senior executive, or as a CEO, you want to be focused in on how you can add value to the company, how you can meet your sales or design targets. You need to be focused on reporting out the status of your team. You really do not have time to be in the details. So I want to encourage you this week to definitely trust your staff, trust in their capabilities, but trust in yourself. Trust in you. You can do this. I say this every week, but you can do this. I trust you. I trust in the capability that you have as a leader. As a leader, you can do it. If you put it into your mind and into your heart that you will do it, you can do it, and it will happen. And then above all, make sure you always find ways to show appreciation. And that's both ways. Find ways to show appreciation to the people that is around you, but also find ways to appreciate yourself. Find ways that you can appreciate what you've done and what other people have done. You know, sometimes when I was working in corporate on payday, I would just go out and usually I'll cook and I'll pack a lunch every day because I was trying to be cost effective. But the days I got paid, it was like nobody's cooking. I'm not cooking today. Today I'm going out to eat. Is that you? Are you the same way? We're going to go out today. Find ways to celebrate. Find ways to do something to reward yourself, and find ways to reward your staff. Find ways to say thank you. Find ways to appreciate them. Find ways to find out how well they're doing. Always remember to try to treat people the way that you will want to be treated, right? Find ways to treat people the way that you will want to be treated, because in that is a lot of power. In that is a lot of freedom. In that is a lot of success, a lot of significance. When you allow for yourself to be an agent of kindness, an agent of leadership, then that for you is going to be something that's going to propel you not only for the goals and the dreams that you believe that you're aspiring for, but it's going to grow you for the dreams and the goals that you have not even thought about yet. Wow. things that you haven't even thought about yet. You think that the only thing in front of you is the next job or the next promotion or the next thing, but you have really no idea what is in front of you. Everything that is in front of you right now is preparing you for the future. So be that agent of kindness. Be that agent of gratitude. Find ways to show appreciation to your team. And let me share something with you, that when you're showing them appreciation, you're building them, you're growing them, you're developing them as leaders. So you're also helping yourself to delegate your responsibilities. The more you grow, the more you give, the more you commit to those around you, they'll commit back to you. You're starting to develop them. And then next thing you know, they will want to do it. They'll come and ask you. They'll do extra things that you haven't even asked them for, because then they have value in what they're doing. They feel as though they're being appreciated and being respected for their work. There's nothing more degrading or demoralizing for a person than to work a job or to be in a position that they don't feel appreciated. Have you ever felt like that before? If not, consider yourself lucky. But if you have, then you totally understand. And we don't want to accidentally or inadvertently give those feelings to someone that's working for us. So find ways to appreciate them. Find ways that you can honor them, and continue to look for ways where you can build them up and grow. And I want to encourage you in your action items as you create your plan, as you start to trust in your staff and capabilities, trusting in yourself, and then also taking that action to find ways to appreciate the people that are around you. I really want to encourage you that this is something that is well within your capabilities. Because you make a lot of naysayers or a lot of thoughts that may come into your mind that this is not for you. This is not going to work for you. You're going to be stressed out. You can't lose weight. You can't get your blood pressure down. Yes, you can lose weight. You can get your blood pressure down. You can start to demonstrate the right things to get you to the right place. So I do want to encourage you to continue to move forward, to continue to develop as a leader, to continue to press in what is needed for you to live a healthy life, a balanced life, a life that is full of joy, a life that is empowered and that empowers other people. Did you get that? A life that is empowered and empowers other people. That's what delegation is all about. And I want to hear from you. So if you're out there and you're listening right now, I want to hear from you. Let me know what type of things that you did to appreciate your staff. Let me know what things that you do to start trusting people in the area that you're in. I want to know how this has affected you. What type of ways were you able to take these action items, take these tools, and how you've been able to use them practically in your everyday life. You never know. You might get a shout out on here, or I might reach out to you, because I want to make sure that this is just not for entertainment, but this is actual content that you can use as you go forward in your careers and in your business. Well, as always, it has been a pleasure discussing and talking with you. And until next time, here's to your freedom, your balance, and your faith for success. Take care.
Thank you for joining today's podcast of Modern Empowerment with Lorinda Buckingham, who has given us valuable empowerment and leadership lessons. For more tools and tips, and to book Lorinda for your next event, check out her website at www.lorindabuckingham.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook at /Lorinda Buckingham, and follow us on Twitter at Lori_Buckingham. Don't forget to subscribe and tell a friend. We look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, here's to your freedom, balance, and faith for success.